Hi guys! First things first, the most important stuff. Come here, Oliver. Come here. Come here. Come on. Well, don't bark. You don't have to say anything. This is Oliver! He likes to make sure people hear him. Anyway, let's get to the questions, shall we? Let's see. I have somebody who asked, how do I write my thesis statement? I got a couple people who asked questions about thesis statements. Thesis statements are your main point. So if I were to ask you to take your entire essay and sum it up in one sentence for me, without quotes or anything, just tell me what your essay is about in one sentence, that's your thesis. So you need to make sure that it clarifies what you're going to be talking about. In this case, it's teenage obesity, and don't forget the words teenage obesity need to be in your thesis, okay? That's the best that I can give you. It's your main point. It's the big idea of the whole essay, okay? And it always, always, always goes at the very end of your first paragraph, of your intro paragraph, okay? And it should be very clear, very simple, and very easy to pick out as your thesis, okay? So that's the thesis question. Somebody asked me, what is a good thesis statement? You're just asking me to write your essay for you, and that's not going to happen, okay? So just follow those kind of guidelines that I just gave, and you should be fine. If you were absent and you happened upon this video instead of looking at what we did today, if you go back a couple of my tweets, you'll see a link to a Google Doc, and that document is all your sources and the SCR for the assignment, okay? That needs to be done tonight. You need to read the sources, notate them, and do your SCR for tonight so that you can bring it in completed to school tomorrow. Another question. I have a question. Can I use the two sources and add a little statistics as well, or is that too much? What's the minimum? Remember, you have to have a minimum of two sources. And if you put statistics in, if you take the one that had the chart in it, that's a third source. Okay? The sources are the places where you're getting the information. It might be the article or the letter or the chart or whatever. But every one of those things is a source. So if you take quotes from two sources and then you pull information from that chart, that's a third source. Just make sure that you say the Human Resources Division of Cotiva County Schools or whatever, I forget what it was called, noted that in between the years of 1980 and 2000, teenage obesity cases had risen 10%. All right, that's a statistic, and you're using the chart. You're calling it out, and the reason we know that, even though it's not a quote, the reason we know that is because you identify who said it first. Okay? Hopefully that answers the question. But a minimum of two sources need to be used. Yes, that's that. If I didn't clarify and you need a little more, just tweet me again, and I'll give you that. Let's see. Next question. Can you point out the necessities in the SCR one more time? Box 1. That's your thesis, and only your thesis. Your thesis should not have quotes around it, because your thesis is you. You're not quoting yourself. It's just your thesis. And while we're on the subject of the intro and the thesis, do not, under any circumstances, say, my essay is going to be about, or the thesis of what I'm going to talk about is. Don't tell me what you're going to tell me. Just say it. Okay? So don't get all crazy with it. That's box 1, thesis. Box 2, 3 pieces of evidence from at least 2 sources. So you're going to give me a quote or the statistics. Either one, it's fine. You're going to give me a quote, and then tell me who said it. Don't forget to put who said it on on the SCR. You'll lose points if you don't. Okay? That's box 2. Box 3 is your misunderstanding. So what is something someone might misunderstand about teenage obesity? Remember, I brought it up the other day. The easy way out would be to say, well, a lot of people think that teenage obesity is because teenagers eat all the time. And we know that's not true. So come up with something that people think about teenagers who are overweight or are obese that may not necessarily be a contributing factor. You might be able to find clues to this in the reading. Hint, hint. You're gonna tell us what that misunderstanding would be, and then you're gonna tell us how you're gonna clear up that misunderstanding in your essay. How you're gonna say, no, it's not really that teenagers eat all the time. Really, there have been studies that link to overweightness or weight gain when teenagers don't eat like they're supposed to. All right? Don't use the one I just gave. That's taking the easy way out, and y'all know how I feel about that. So those are the 3 things. Box 1 is thesis. Box 2 is your 3 pieces of evidence from at least 2 sources. And box 3 is the misunderstanding, and tell me how you're going to clear that misunderstanding up in the essay, okay? What's a bias? I forgot. A bias is when someone believes something that is not true. It's not that they're confused. It's that they believe a certain thing that, well, it may not be, not that it's not true, but they believe a certain thing that leans a certain way. So, like, Republicans have a bias against abortion. Democrats have a bias toward the environment. Okay? They tend to favor one way or another on an issue. That's a bias. I'm not going to link a bias to teenage obesity for you because you're smarter than letting me do your work for you. I know you are. All right, let's see. Any more questions? Any more? Okay. That's all. Sorry, I just read a tweet. That was funny. Very funny. If you have any more questions tonight, I'm available until 10. I may not answer you right away, but I will check them, and I'll tweet you back. Thank you to, like, the 5 of you that tweeted in your questions. I hope I answered them. My dog's distracting me. Anyway, hopefully this was a good experiment. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, that's the SCR. Those are the instructions. And good luck tonight. And I will see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful evening and rock this essay like I know you can. Bye, guys.